Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Schellack, and thank you for being here. Welcome to my presentation, Corporate Social Responsibility, How Businesses Shape Ethical Behavior and Social Values. We often think of businesses as places to work or as companies that sell us products, but behind the scenes, they also send powerful messages about what matters. Things like fairness, responsibility, and community. Today, I'll be exploring how corporate social responsibility is not just about rules or regulations. It's about how companies influence the way we see the world and even how we see ourselves. By looking at examples from sociology, psychology, and business, I'll show you how corporations act as teachers of values for better or for worse. The central idea here is that human nature is plastic. It's flexible and shaped by our environment. Just like clay can be molded, people are shaped by societies and institutions around them. Businesses are one of those institutions. Through their policies, advertising, and responsibilities, they socialize us, teaching us what behaviors, values, and norms are considered acceptable. For example, think about recycling bins in stores. That simple act teaches us environmental responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, or CSR, matters because it balances two things: profit and responsibility. Traditionally, businesses were seen only as existing to make money. But now, society expects them to also protect the environment, treat workers fairly, and contribute positively to communities. Think of it as a balance scale. One side is profit, the other is social good. If a company tips too far towards profit at the expense of people or the planet, the trust is lost. Clifford Geertz is one of the most respected cultural anthropologists of the 20th century. He reminds us that humans live inside cultural web systems of meaning we create together. What Geertz means here is that our actions are not just random or instinctual. We live in a world full of symbols and meanings, things like language, tradition, and beliefs that we create together as a society. These cultural webs shape how we understand ourselves and others. So our identity is built through the meanings we learn and share. For example, shaking hands might seem like a simple action, but in many cultures it represents greeting, respect, or agreement. Without understanding the cultural meaning, the action alone doesn't tell us much. Tied to CSR, this means companies don't exist in a vacuum. They are part of cultural webs and contribute to them. For instance, when a company supports Hispanic Heritage Month or Earth Day, it's reinforcing cultural values of equality or sustainability. It's not just business, it's shaping meaning in society. Farrell and colleagues highlight both the dangers and opportunities of globalization. Big companies can spread harmful practices like exploitation or environmental damage, but they can also set global standards for responsibility. Imagine a company that publishes sustainability reports in several different languages. That shows CSR in practice, using corporate power to set expectations for fairness, sustainability, and human rights. Environmental psychologists like Lengiza, Avist, and Peng argue that our connection to nature shapes how we behave and cooperate with each other. Lengiza and Avist found that people who connected to nature are more helpful and cooperative. LP Peng talks about landscape socialization. He says that even the places we live, like city or forest, influence who we become. For example, if someone raised in a small town, they may develop a close sense of community, while someone from a large city might become more independent and fast-paced. These physical spaces shape our habits, routines, and even the way we view the world. This connects directly to corporate social responsibility, where businesses influence not only the environment, but also the values that we adopt. A strong example is Diamond Packaging, which earned a platinum rating in 2021, placing it on top of 1% of companies worldwide for sustainability. By using renewable energy, zero waste facilities, and recyclable materials, Diamond shows that a company can integrate responsibility into every layer of its operations. What this illustrates is that CSR isn't just about compliance, it's about actively shaping the culture of sustainability. When companies take leadership, they model values that ripple out into employees, consumers, and entire industries. It's a signal that protecting the planet isn't optional, it's a responsibility we share. Let's take a closer look at how we learn behaviors. Albert Bandura explains that we learn by watching each other. In business, this means employees look to leaders for cues on how to act. CSR programs create role models. If leadership values transparency or sustainability, employees are more likely to mirror those behaviors. Imagine a CEO who openly volunteers at community events. That action filters down, encouraging employees to give back too. Dr. Elwell is a respected scholar in sociocultural theory. He focuses on how societies function and how individuals are influenced by larger social forces, and how human nature can't be explained without looking at society. He writes, I have a very plastic view of human nature. I find the incredible variety of human behaviors, beliefs, and attitudes impossible to account for under any hard and fast narrow conception of human nature. This means that people are too different to believe that we all are just born one way. Think about how people act at work versus at home. The same person may be serious in a professional setting, but relaxed with friends. That's a different behavior. So the behavior is not fixed, it's shaped depending on the social expectations of where they are. Janet Hyde's work on gender similarities show that many differences are socially created. They're not biological. CSR has a role here too. Companies influence equality in the workspace. For example, when a business adopts policies for equal pay or diversity hiring, they reinforce the idea that fairness and inclusion are expected cultural norms. This is social justice in action, guided by CSR. Now let's think about the media. Beata Hoffman, who studies consumer psychology, says that ads don't just sell products, they sell ideas about what's cool or normal. When kids see the same messages over and over, they start to believe what's shown is how they should act or what they should want. This doesn't stop when we grow up. As college students, think about how many times you see ads on social media, YouTube, or streaming services. Whether it's the same beauty product or the latest tech or a specific lifestyle, you're constantly being shown what is supposed to be desirable. Maybe you've noticed certain trends being pushed repeatedly, like a fitness influencer promoting a specific brand or a popular clothing style appearing in every online store. Advertising is one of the strongest tools of socialization. This kind of passive socialization shapes your preferences and behaviors without you always realizing it. You may start to think that using a certain product will make you more accepted or successful because of how often you see it linked to one of those ideas. Over time, it influences how we view ourselves, our goals, and even our identity, just from the media we consume daily. CSR adds responsibility to that influence. By using a campaign that aims to challenge stereotypes and promote self-esteem, ads like this don't just market a product. They influence cultural conversations about beauty and identity. CSR shows that businesses are cultural agents, not just economic machines. They embed values, ethics, and responsibilities into our lives, influencing how we think about fairness, sustainability, equality, and trust. Since human nature is not fixed and it's shaped by the institutions that we engage with, in today's world, corporations are some of the most powerful teachers of values. Important. Adults spend most of their lives in a work environment, and human nature is profoundly shaped by the environments that we are a part of. Businesses are not just economic systems. They influence how we think about fairness and even the future that we are able to imagine. CSR reminds us that corporations don't just shape markets, they shape people. When companies prioritize profit at the expense of people or the planet, the consequences ripple through society. But when they choose responsibility, they help create a more ethical and sustainable world. We're not passive in this process. As consumers and employees, the choices we make, what we buy, where we work, and which values we support all reinforce these systems. When we stay aware, we are not only shaping the businesses we support, we're also shaping ourselves, our communities, and the generations that come after us. Two companies you know, one that acted responsibly and one that didn't. How did each influence the way you think about people, culture, or the environment? Here are the sources I used throughout my presentation. I wanted to explore corporate social responsibility from multiple perspectives: sociology, psychology, business, and environmental studies to show how organizations shape not only economies, but also our values, behaviors, and social expectations. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this presentation gave you a clearer picture of how CSR functions as a powerful force of socialization, influencing not just companies and communities, but also each of us in our daily lives.